We want to get reaction to what's happening in Egypt right now. One of the world's wealthiest people, part of the Saudi royal family, Prince Alwaleed bin Talal, has been watching the situation closely. He says Middle Eastern countries need evolution, not revolution. He joins me now in a CMC exclusive to talk about that and a lot more from the Savoy Hotel in London. Prince Alwaleed, good to have you on the program. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hello, Maria. Always nice to be with you.
Always good to see you, Your Highness. So let me begin with what's happening in Egypt right now. You've been following it. What's your perspective?
Well, as you know, Egypt went through a revolution, and the Islamic Brotherhood won the election. But clearly, the Islamic people over there have proven to be strong underground. But when it came to the politics above ground, they have proven to be a failure. This is good news for the Arab world, to really show the real face of those people who are underground. The question right now, what's next for Egypt? Clearly, Egypt is in turmoil, and I think that the army will have to play a role imminently within the coming few days.
What do you think about the pressure coming from the military? I mean, given the military's pressure, is that a positive, or does that create all sorts of implications with foreigners, for example? I mean, does the relationship with the United States change given the military's pressure here?
Yeah, you understand that when a country like Egypt, with almost 90 million population, is in turmoil, there's no doubt that the military has to be involved sooner or later if things don't stabilize. And it doesn't seem that the situation is on the verge of being stabilized. So there's no doubt that the military will have to be involved one or another sooner than later.
You know, we were talking with an international economist earlier, Prince Alwaleed, and basically she said that this is a fundamental issue throughout the Middle East and that we need to see real reform. We need to see an improvement for the people. In order to really see an end to some of these demonstrations that have been going on now, of course, ever since the Arab Spring. Do you think we will see that kind of evolution that you referred to earlier?
Yeah, I wrote several articles in the Western media and Arab media advocating evolutions, so no revolutions take place. And clearly, most of those Arab nations that, thanks God, did not have any revolution, they are watching very closely what's happening in Egypt, Tunis, Libya, Syria, and to a certain extent in Yemen. And they are very worried about what's happening there, and they are beginning to do some real reforms in their countries. So I'm always advocating peaceful evolutions rather than violent revolutions like that's happening right now in Egypt.
Do you worry that this could happen in Saudi Arabia?
Well, if you look at not only Saudi Arabia, but all the GCC countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Oman, they are really in peace completely. And the quality of life there is high, the economy is doing good. Having said that, there's no country that's immune from what's happening in their vicinity. So it is very important to use and capitalize on this tranquility and stability that they have right now, and really inject as many as possible reforms on the political, economical, and social front, so they have an immunity from, God forbid, any similar revolutions or any turmoil, God forbid.
Yeah, you make a very good point. Meanwhile, the other story that is sidetracking this one is oil, Your Highness. I mean, now oil pushing $100 a barrel. How much of what's happening in Egypt or throughout the Middle East, broadly speaking, is a threat to the stability of oil prices?
Well, you know, the price for oil is a function of the stability in the Middle East to a certain extent. Having said that, there's no doubt that the production of shale oil in the United States, Europe, and some other countries in the world, and the actual production of more oil and gas in the United States, Australia, and Canada, is going to put more pressure on the price of oil and gas in the coming years and decades. So it's very important for those countries who depend on oil, such as the members of OPEC, to really begin diversifying and be less dependent on oil.
What do you think of the idea that the United States could ultimately become an oil exporter? A lot of reports saying it could happen by 2020.
I think this is a fact. And clearly this is one of the tailwind that the United States is going to be facing in the next decade or 2 decades, whereby the oil and gas coming from the traditional gas and oil or the new shale oil and gas production is going to be a major boost to the manufacturing industry and to the United States in general. So that's good for the United States. However, for other countries who are dependent on oil, it is very important that they take an early warning and begin diversifying their economies who are very much dependent on oil.
Does that change the relationship with Saudi Arabia if, in fact, the U.S. becomes an oil exporter, do you think?
Well, the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States has been established long time ago when King Abdulaziz, the establisher of Saudi Arabia, met the President of the United States, Roosevelt. So, no, the United States relationship with Saudi Arabia is very strong, and it goes beyond oil. Clearly, oil plays a big role in the equation. But you have to understand that Saudi Arabia is the anchor of the Islamic world, the anchor of the Arab world. So United States relationship with Saudi Arabia is a lot stronger than and being dependent only on oil.
Your Highness, you are coming to us from the Savoy Hotel in London, which, of course, you own. You also own the Plaza in New York, the George Cinq in Paris, a whole host of upscale hotels. How's the hotel business going right now?
It's very clear that the hotel industry has moved around the corner and now is an upside cycle. We clearly see it from our Four Seasons brand, the Fairmont brand that owns Raffles Swiss Hotel, and the Moving Hotel. All these hotels are seeing a pickup in occupancy rate, in revenue per available room, we call it RevPAR. So it's very clear that the cycle right now is very favorable to the hotel industry, and we see it across the board all over the world.
And in fact, you're seeing money come in from foreigners, too, obviously, in the hotel business. Where's the money coming from?
Well, you know, for example, we are investors with Bill Gates in owning the Four Seasons, and the Qatari government is our partners in the Fairmont brand. So really, we see a lot of interest in buying stakes in hotels and hotel management companies. And as you know, we are involved in both in hotel management and in the real estate part of the hotel equation.
And I know the Qataris are your partner. I know you also did a deal with Bill Gates. By the way, Your Highness, were you surprised at the shakeup in the Qatari government? I know that you know Sheikh Hamad very well. He's been a guest on this program many times. Is that going to be an upset in terms of the relationship between the Saudis and the Qataris?
Oh, not really. I just visited Qatar a few days ago, and I met the new Emir and the old Emir, and they're very much in control. Actually, I've called my friend Sheikh Hamad bin Jassim, and he was there during the handover officially to the new Emir, and he left to Europe. I talked to him. He's on board. He's very happy. And he said it's now his turn for the new leadership, a new age to take over. And I really applaud the Emir of Qatar and the new Emir of Qatar for this dramatic move that really I hope will be the trend in the Arab world.
Your Highness, whether the hotel assets, your investments in the U.S., Kingdom Holdings value, your value in terms of what Forbes magazine said it is, was different than what you are actually fighting with Forbes because they valued you at $20 billion, and you say it should be more than that. Have you actually filed a defamation claim against Forbes, as some have reported?
Yeah. Yeah, I need to clarify something here. You know, some media outlets got it right, but some media unfortunately got it wrong. This has nothing to do with the personal wealth of Waleed bin Talal. This has to do with the integrity of Saudi Arabia, with the integrity of the stock market in Saudi Arabia, whereby Forbes has defamed both my country and the stock market over there. And that's why we're going to fight this to the end. And yes, we are going to sue them in the UK, whereby we'd like them to withdraw all their wrong allegations against Saudi Arabia and against the stock market in Saudi Arabia. This has nothing to do with my wealth whatsoever, because my wealth has been followed by many other entities in the world.
Have you filed suit already?
This matter is being managed by my lawyers, and yes, we have filed for the suit, and our lawyers are in touch with the lawyers, because we will not tolerate and accept any defamation of Saudi Arabia and the stock market and the trading process in Saudi Arabia, period.
Right. So in other words, some in the media have talked about it as if it's you caring about what your net worth is, but in fact, you're saying Forbes defamed the Saudis, defamed Saudi Arabia and the market. I want to get your reaction to what Forbes says, because they're also responding to your claims. They wrote us this statement today. I'd like to read it to you. They say, "We continue to be bemused by Prince Alwaleed's ego-driven PR stunt. Forbes still has not been served with any lawsuit. Our story raises significant questions about his finances, and we would welcome the opportunity to uncover further relevant information during the course of any hypothetical suit." So I guess the question is, what's next? Are you going to provide evidence, send that lawsuit? What's your reaction to that statement, Your Highness?
My wealth is a function of the market capitalization of Kingdom Holding. And when the market capitalization of Kingdom Holding and the stock market in Saudi Arabia and the integrity of the Saudi Arabia in general is being hit and being put under suspicion by a magazine called Forbes, this can't be tolerated at all. And yes, we have filed a lawsuit, and guess what? Their lawyer is already in touch with our lawyer. So for them to say they were not served, that's really, at best, is economizing the truth.
What would you like Forbes to do at this point?
I just like Forbes to treat Saudi Arabia like any other country that is a member of the G20. Remember, Saudi Arabia is a member of the G20. Saudi Arabia is the biggest economy in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia should be compared to the BRICS countries. Saudi Arabia should be compared to the OECD countries, and yes, even to Japan and the United States. The stock market in Saudi Arabia is beyond any suspicion or doubt. That's what has to go. That's what has to happen by Forbes before we engage in any discussion with them.
And have you seen any negative implications in Saudi Arabia as a result of what they published?
Not really. Thanks God, the integrity of Kingdom Holding and the integrity of Alwaleed bin Talal is beyond the heresy in the window and rumors of a magazine that its future is very much in doubt.
All right, let me move on to some of your other investments, Prince Alwaleed, because you've got knee-deep stakes in News Corp, 21st Century, one of the leading investors there, as well as Citi. Talk to us about News Corp, 21st Century. Are you keeping both stocks post-split?
Yes, I am very glad of the move that my partner and my friend Rupert Murdoch and James Murdoch have taken in splitting the empire, the conglomerate empire of News Corp into two parts, the publishing company and the non-publishing company. And yes, now we are investors in both. Clearly, we're going to evaluate the situation and look at the portfolio of each new company and then make a decision. But yes, we are very happy with that move, and our alliance with Rupert Murdoch and the Murdoch family and News Corp is as solid as a rock.
Do you like one over the other? Where do you think the growth will be between the two companies?
Well, you know, each company has its advantage. Each company one is value, one is growth. So really, you know, this has just happened. The split just took over and just began trading, you know, a few days ago. I think we need some time to absorb the situation, compare both companies, fit that in our overall kingdom strategy globally, and then make a decision based on our interest and the shareholders' interest of Kingdom Holding in Saudi Arabia.
Prince, what's your take right now on Citi? I mean, you have been one of those investors who wanted a higher dividend, obviously, a sustained, significant dividend. You have yet to see one. Are you losing patience or what? What's your take on Citi right now?
No. We've been with Citi since 1991. And if you compare the results of Citi the last quarter with all the banks, all the big comparable banks like Bank of America, JP Morgan, and Wells Fargo and other banks, frankly speaking, Citigroup results were way ahead. The important thing now is my friend Mr. Corbett to continue with the resilience and the good performance that were achieved so far under his tenure. And he visited me in Saudi Arabia, by the way, just a few months ago. And I'm very optimistic that he will sustain the trajectory and the growth that Citi is under right now.
Are you investing in the U.S. more so than in past times right now? What's your take on the broader market?
Yeah, you know, we have investment committee that monitors globally the situation. And our latest investment in the United States was in Twitter, whereby now it is clearly doing very well. And also we had an investment in a similar company in China, in the internet arena, in 360. And this company is very much comparable to Amazon, and you can stand with the very small market share they have right now, and with 1.3 billion people of population, and growing by the day, the market, the middle class over there. So these two companies were our latest investment in the United States and China, and we are always looking for new opportunities when they arise.
Yeah, you've been a real social networker. I've seen your tweets, and I'm going to tweet you a message when we finish this interview, Your Highness. Are you expecting Twitter to go public?
Yeah, I have followed your 1,000 tweet on your lovely baby dog.
Thank you so much, Prince Alwaleed. That's very kind. So you think Twitter will go public? Is that your exit?
I think Twitter eventually will have to go public, but I believe also Twitter has learned a lesson from the Facebook going public. So I think they have to be very patient and not to rush things at all. They have to be on solid grounds and not to succumb to the pressure of the market. Clearly, we'd like them to go public sooner than later, but we're not going to push them until the market is ready for them, until they're mature enough, until the market reaction looks at them positively. So when they go, the market reaction to them will be positive and not, frankly speaking, like the reaction they had on Facebook.
All right, we will leave it there. Prince Alwaleed, good to have you on the program as always. Thanks very much for joining us.
Pleasure to be with you, Maria. Thank you.
We will see you soon. Prince Alwaleed joining us live tonight in London.